our call. It's to reveal the glory of God wherever we go. But also, the result of this mission, point number 2, the result of this mission is joy. Mission is necessary for true joy. Find here John 17, verse 13. It says, "But now I am coming to you, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves." Jesus says that they might have my joy fulfilled. I want to submit to some of you all this morning that the reason for your joylessness might be because there have been a failure on your part to follow God in mission. What we see here through this text is Jesus is saying there's a tight link, a direct correlation between mission and joy. That as we follow God in mission, we experience a joy that nothing in this world can offer, nothing in this world can give us. And when we look at the Christian landscape, we find most of the time a sense of boredom, a sense of lack of interest, of lack of zeal, a lack of fire. And Jesus is saying there's a direct correlation between our joylessness and our lack of mission. Hebrews 12, verse 2 says, talking about Jesus, who for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of God. Jesus, when he talked about his mission, when the divine council got together, the triune clique, that rose thick, when they got together and they were thinking who would go, who would endure the shame, who would go to rescue humanity, Jesus thought of that moment, and there was joy despite the shame. There was joy despite the hardship. There was joy. Why? Because he knew the end result was Revelations 21, where it says one day every tear will be removed from our eyes, and every tribe and every nation will be gathered before the Lamb. He had that in mind. So he saw mission, but he saw joy. And the same goes for you and I. You and I, when we think about sharing our faith, when we think about going into difficult and hard places, when we think about being an ambassador, there should be a joy because we know the end of the story. We know the end of the movie. And how it ends, it ends with joy. It ends with every single mother who struggled, that when they come to accept Christ and you and I help usher them into that one-stop shop named Jesus, where he meets all of their need, there is joy at the realization they have found someone who they can count on and depend on through the highs and lows of life. Our lack of joy is connected to our lack of mission. This summer I had the great privilege and honor to spend some time in Africa. I've traveled Haiti, done mission trips there, and had never been to Africa. We had a chance to, I believe there's some photos, you can kind of just run through a couple of them. We had a chance to take, that's Rod. Rod Kearney's actually from here. He's from Jacksonville. He's an offensive lineman and a freshman. We had a chance to take him. Layla is a track athlete. Zach is a track athlete. And we had a chance to go there, and it was an amazing experience. But what really marked me was part of this reality of the joy of being on missions. Can I submit to some of you all in here that if you haven't yet invested through your prayer, through your finances, or by going in missions overseas and here locally, I want to encourage you to do so. Maybe that thing that you've been searching for, like, Lord, what is my calling? Why do I feel stagnant in my prayer life? Why do I feel stagnant in my Christian journey? It might mean that you have failed to obey and heed God in going on mission. Because I can't tell you the joy that we experience. Yes, it was a 20-hour flight. Yes, there were difficulties. Yes, we had to eat things that we weren't accustomed to eating. Yes, there were all of those things, but the joy of feeling God's presence as we went about sharing athletic principles and things that would better some of the local Ivorians in Ivory Coast, Africa, But then we were able to say to them, listen, part of athletics is you long for that moment of holding that gold. You endure all the pain and all of that for the joy of holding the gold medal or for the joy of having the confetti fall on you. And guess what? That joy is for a moment and then it fades. And we had the privilege to tell them of a day that if they accept Jesus and they endure through life, because it won't be easy, but there's a joy that will come in heaven, a joy that will never fade, a joy that will never pass, a joy that will be far lasting than the joy of holding a medal or a joy of being a national champion. The joy of missions, friends. Oh, there is nothing like it. This is what Philemon 1 verse 6 was getting at, where he said, be active in sharing your faith so that you will know every good thing in Christ. Whether you feel like you're called to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, all of it is meant to point back to the glory of God. And as we do, we find a joy. Friends, I encourage you, I beseech you, please do not waste your life. Do not waste your life. We only have one. Some of you, God has been calling and pressing upon your heart to step out, to go, whether it be across the street into the inner city, whether it be here to go serve the elderly, whether it be here to go teenage pregnancy and young girls who are afraid, and to be a friend. And as you befriend them, you bring the truth that there's a friend like Jesus. Oh, what a friend we have in him. All our needs he carries. That is the joy that God is calling us. That's the joy that Jesus offers us here in this text. See, if you're a Christian, you realize that there's a joy that's set before you that allows you to endure the shame of persecution that may come your way. Because as you step out in mission, persecution will come. People will think, oh, you're trying to be holier than thou. Oh, you're trying to be better than me. But we endure that because we see the joy that is set before us.
Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, share it with a friend and subscribe to our channel. We go live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks again for watching.